Yeah, you know, when we started the conversation a couple of years ago, I remember it was about 6 years ago, people were thinking that perhaps we are smoking our socks and everything. But with all the incidences that have happened and also post-COVID and everything, people have realized that there's so much benefits that we can get from technology. And they're really embracing it, and we're enjoying it. It's everywhere now. You look at where we're standing now as South Africa, we've already unfortunately had 4 fatalities, which is not good. I mean, if you look at around the same period last year, January, by the end of January, we had 0 fatals. We had 0 fatalities and we're all celebrating and everything. But this year alone, if you look at it, we've already had 4 fatalities, 3 at gold and then 1 with platinum. And some of those, you always wonder, what is it that technology could have done to maybe be an intervention or even save a life? I mean, we've got 1 on heat exhaustion. Did you have to put a human being there? Is there an opportunity that you could have put somebody to go and help us to reopen the mine? Because it was a guy who was reopening the mine after the mine had been on a break for quite some time. He died of heat exhaustion. Who knows, maybe we could have sent a robot there that could have been able to help us. And all of these things are there, by the way. I mean, I'm sure you've come across a dog called Spotty. And that dog called Spotty basically can actually go there and actually check these kind of things. Could it have been done better? We've got a guy who got pinched between the machines as well. Then we had a guy who also fell from a chairlift. So all these kind of incidences, you ask yourself, what is it that could have been done, or what is it that technology could have helped in maybe preventing the fatality? So I love where we go in the direction that we're going now. It's you're also, when you walk around and you'll see a lot of, now all of a sudden, tech companies that are opening up and the mines are opening up and say, please come through and help us. One of the things that the employment equity enforced was that we had to reach a certain quota for women, and that quota obviously was going up each and every year. And I must say, when you brought in the women, I don't think we had prepared the environment for them. I was discussing with a friend of mine earlier on to say, we had an incident of a lady where her hand basically turned into a spaghetti while she was operating a roof bolter. That initially I believe that it wasn't really, it hadn't taken into consideration the women coming into it. So we hadn't prepared the environment for the women, and now you're asking yourself, what is it that we can do from a technology point of view that's going to make the industry also acceptable for women as well? So that's a lot of things that we can currently do. Machines have been redesigned. We know that women are slightly differently shaped from men, and then also they are not as strong as we are. What is it that you can do from a technology point of view to ensure that women are also better accommodated? One of the things that we did in the past, when I was very interested to see what was happening outside in terms of the technology, I also started with the result, but not going back all the way to say, why are people doing this? I was excited to say Australia's got driverless trucks, driverless trains, driverless drill rigs, you know, all of those kind of things in position. But we never really asked ourselves, why do they have them? And I was almost ready to say, if I was in a position to come and, you know, plug and play, take Australian solutions and put them in South Africa, I could. But in that whole transition, I wasn't taking into consideration the fact that the people are not going to be ready. And what are the problems that us as the African continent are currently facing? We're not facing the same problems as other countries. So to just come and take a solution and plug it here, you always have to ask yourself, why are you doing something? And is it going to be fit for purpose? I mean, if you look at Australia, when they started doing their driverless trucks, when they did their driverless trucks, their driverless train, and also the drill rigs and everything, is because the community prices were not doing well. At that time, the community prices were not doing well. The labor was also quite expensive, and there were no resources around in terms of your water infrastructure and everything. So it was only reasonable for them to do what they had to do. But as we want to take that solution and bring it in South Africa, what problems are we facing and what problems are we trying to solve? Only then we can see if those solutions can also be part of our solutions in here. And making sure that you take everyone with, are our people ready for that? What is our current problem at this moment? Just like we had a problem last year, unemployment is still the same problem that we have now. But now you bring people from outside to bring technology from outside. We're not benefactors. Also now you also at some point, it's even worse, you bring people from outside to come and run that technology here. Who are the beneficiaries? It's also not us. There isn't any justice that is done there. So when I'm talking about the just innovation transition is to say, okay, we understand, we need this, but let's make sure that we put some justice to it, one step at a time, and don't leave anyone behind. Can I say this? It's the most difficult exercise that one can ever do, because you are choosing this esteemed group of people, and now you have to say someone is better than the other one, and all of them, they are equally good. You understand? So when it comes to the mining leadership, I must say, guys, we are quite led. I always say, I wish that we're given an opportunity to not only run the industry, but rather also run the country, because there's a lot of things that could be done differently, and we can go, actually, we can improve, go a long way. So I must say, I've been enjoying that exercise. I'm learning a lot. I mean, for me, I'm a South African miner, but then I've also been exposed to other countries beyond South Africa, like the whole Africa in general. So there's a lot that is being learned, and there's a lot that people are doing that is amazing there. You see phenomenal leadership, quality, and both women and both men and also women doing amazing things. I love it. I'm enjoying the process. Right. So each and every person who was selected there, they more than deserve it. And if you are number 2, maybe you are number 2 just by 1 point. You could have been number 1 as well. So well done to them.